What's happening, everyone? Today we are going to look at a game called HexRoller. It is another one of these great games that are infinitely scalable, and you can play with your students on a Zoom, you can play together in the classroom, or you can play together with us on our online Let's Play community. Hopefully you've checked that out. In the description down below, there are several links. You can find a link to this particular game's sort of sheet where you're going to be able to play, and there are two different sheets that you can play with that you can find in that same sort of template link. If you click that, there's the regular and then there's the expansion. So if you're playing with us online, make sure you grab the right one. Also down there, you'll find a link to our just global Let's Play community where you can find a link to all the various games. And for each of those, there's a video tutorial like this so that you know how to play the game with your students or with us online. And also templates and everything and the directions. Super great community, so hopefully you check those out. So without further ado, let's learn how to play HexRoller. All right, HexRoller is a great little puzzly game that I'm going to run through quickly with you here. The rules are pretty simple. We're not going to get into every little situation of the game, but I just want to make sure you understand scoring. I am going to do a little movie magic here and jump forward a couple turns, so hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody. Ultimately, this game is pretty simple, but a great little puzzle. So let's jump over to the template. This is the template that you're going to be using in your game. I'm currently playing on the iPad. You can do that as well with our template. It shows you how to do that. All right, looking at scoring, there are lots of different routes to victory in this particular game. So looking at the left-hand side of our score sheet, you see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to score, and I want to walk you through these. The first one here is if you don't use these special powers. The second one is if you've completed, if you filled up one of these lily pads with numbers. Just going to show you a quick example of that. This is not following turn order, so this is that movie magic I was describing. All right, now that lily pad's filled, this would have taken turns to do, but this lily pad being done, what we do is we look at the largest amount of a particular number. So we have 3 6s, 2 3s, 2 4s. So 6 is there the most frequent in that purple zone. And as such, we get to say that purple scores us 6 points. And so finishing a lily pad, this only works if you finished it. You want to try to finish those with large numbers if you can, because they can really add up. Number 3 here works the exact same way as the number 2, except we're talking about this large center zone, and it is ×2 the value. So if the largest number in there is 3, if that's the one that appears the most often, then you double that and it's worth 6. All right, category 4 is kind of an interesting one. Category 4 is you're trying to connect the pre-printed numbers with a line of just that same number. So if we can connect the 3 to the 3, the 8 to the 8, then you get that amount of points. So if you connect the 3s, you get the 3s. If you connect the 4s, you get 4. If you connect the 5, you get 5. You get the point. So let's take a look at these 4s. If I on several turns right, 4, 4, 4. I have connected these 4s, these pre-printed 4s, with the number 4. So I am able to say that my 4s have been made, and I get 4 points for that. It is a neat little feature, but you start to see by doing that, you sort of make it harder to connect. So for example, these 5s, the only way to connect the 5s now would be to do that. If I did that, there's no way to connect these 8s because things are in the way. This is another head scratcher. Which ones are you going to go for? Which ones are you going to let go? By placing these, you're obviously not working on the other aspects of the game. So this is another way to score points and another part of the puzzle. Now we have one more way to score points in the game. This one, hang tight. It's kind of the most confusing, but not so bad. All right, so each turn you place 2 sets of numbers. Now I didn't talk about that yet. The flow of the turn is pretty easy. I roll these dice and we select 2 different numbers, and you get to place all of those numbers down on your board. Placement rules are as follows. When you're placing a number, you select all of them. So let's say I take these 3 and I can place it anywhere I want on the board, but when I when I start writing, it has to grow from that particular number. So if I go, let's say up here, and I write 3, now the next 2 3s have to grow from that. So let's say I go 3 and 3. That's fine. Then I choose one other set of numbers. Let's say I take the 7s, because I want to make that category worth a bunch. Now, on some later turn, if I can place another 7 in here, it works. Also, in that case of this up here, if there's a tie, let's say we put the number 4 here on some future turn, and now we're tied. There's 3 7s, 3 3s. You get to take the higher number, so I can say my pinks are worth 7. So that's a pretty nice piece of the puzzle. I told you this last scoring category, when you place a number, every round when you place numbers, you have to fill them in down here and just go left to right on your placements. You can choose which one goes in the dark gray, which one goes in the light gray, but you have to every round put one of the numbers that you used in the light gray, one of the numbers you used in the dark gray. So on this particular turn, I used 3 and 7. So let's say I put 3 and 7. Next turn, let's say I rolled these exact same dice again. Maybe I want to play the 3 down here and the 7 up here. Let's say I rolled these same numbers again, and I played a 5 and I played a 6. Again, I could choose. Let's just fill this out on future turns. Now we've filled it in, I can kind of explain to you how this works. So on each turn, I played 2 different numbers, got to play them in the dark gray and the light gray. And now at the end of the game, you're looking for the longest run, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have to start with 3. And it doesn't matter the order in terms of the way you wrote it, but somewhere in here, I'm looking for a 3, found it. Then I'm looking for a 4, found it. Looking for a 5, found it. Looking for a 6, found it. Looking for a 7. So my gray gets to score the highest that I achieved in that run, and that was 7. Now let's look at the bottom row. I found a 3. Oh, I didn't find a 4, so the highest I got there is 3. Now, interestingly enough, let's say I had the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, but I didn't have the 3. It's worth 0. You must start from 3, see how high you build up, and that's the value, right? And then you add those up, so 7 and 3, I scored 10 points. And then you can see already, we just summed down all of them, and that is your score for HexRoller. And that's it. It's a quick little game. It's a fun little game. I'm sure when we play it on the live stream, we'll play it more than once. So again, if you have a printout, print out more than one sheet, because we're probably going to play more than one sheet. That's HexRoller. I hope you enjoy playing HexRoller with us on the live stream, or your students via Zoom, Google Meet, whatever you use in your classroom. If you're back in the classroom and playing these kind of games, super awesome that it's infinitely scalable. As always, I hope you connect with our community, subscribe to the channel. If you're a teacher, there are lots of other professional development things found here on this channel, so check those out. Everyone, I hope you have a great day and play on.